Hello. I already did a take of this video, but went on too long, my phone ran out of storage, and I think I was just stumbling over a lot of what I wanted to say, so this is my second take. Earlier today, I saw Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, which is the fifth in the Indiana Jones franchise, directed by James Mangold. And I guess before I want to get into how I felt about this movie, I want to make my opinions clear about the other ones, because me personally, I've never felt a deep connection to them. I've always thought that they were just good. They were just like a fun time, a solid, competently made franchise. First one, Raiders of the Lost Ark, is a really damn good movie. I don't think it's one of the greatest of all time, but it is a really great movie, and if you're looking for something that is perfectly written, perfectly acted, beautifully shot, you can't go wrong with Raiders of the Lost Ark. Temple of Doom, I don't care for as much as Raiders of the Lost Ark, but that movie has really, really great pacing, and there's a lot of great action set pieces and stunt work that make that movie work for me overall. And Last Crusade is a good return to form. I love the relationship between Indiana Jones and his dad, the estrangement, the reconciliation. It's good character stuff. When I was going into this movie, I was not thinking I was going to have the greatest cinematic experience of my life, because these movies have never been, that for me. I went in pretty level-headed, hoping I was going to get 2.5 hours of Indiana Jones, older, grumpier, a little rough around the edges, a little bit of his prime, hunting an ancient artifact, punching Nazis, and learning some lessons along the way. Little did I know, that is not what I was going to get. And I also want to make clear that I'm going to be complaining a lot in this video, but I don't hate this movie. I'm just annoyed. I am exasperated at the lost opportunities. This movie, it squandered so many things that, could have been really interesting, and made so many choices that I just really disagree with. Starting off, let's just say the first 20 minutes with D.H. Harrison Ford. Everyone's talking about it. It's pretty iffy. Weirdly enough, the facial, that stuff did not bother me. That was not what got to me. What took me out of the scene entirely was hearing an 80-year-old Harrison Ford, his voice coming out of the mouth of a 40-something-year-old. Because, even if you're trying, no matter what this dude is doing, I don't care if he's punching Nazis or running on top of a train, trying to get out of a noose while a building around him is on fire, no matter what you're doing, if he sounds like 80-year-old Harrison Ford, it took me out of it completely. And maybe for some people that didn't bother them as much, but for me, I was like, oh god, it's so noticeable. And so I was hoping, okay, maybe once he becomes an old man, I'll enjoy it a lot more. Once we're acknowledging the fact that this man is old, it'll be more grounded, it'll be more enjoyable. That is not the case. Overall, it is so unique in its tone, because it honestly feels, honest to God, it feels like it doesn't want to exist. The tone of the movie, in my head, is just like, oh god, what? You want us to do you want to do this shit again? That's the tone I was getting from start to finish. From the get-go, I was like, this feels weird, because this movie has this tired, cynical tone. I don't understand why they made some of the choices they made. Because here's the thing, I'm not saying he's like a jolly dude who's just like, come on guys, let's find an artifact and punch some Nazis, yo! He's always been rough around the edges and a bit prickly and a bit standoffish to people. That's what makes him so enjoyable to watch, and that's what Harrison Ford excels at in portraying the character. But in this movie, it takes that and then dials it up by 11, where now he's just a grumpy old dude who wants to die. We didn't need a story about Indiana Jones feeling like he's way past his prime, like he's outlived his usefulness and just waiting to die. And I don't know why anyone should want that. We already gave him a happy ending in the fourth one. We saw him get married and be reunited with his son Mutt, and that he lived happily ever after. I never needed there to be any more than that. But there was. If there's anything I don't really have much of a complaint about, it's definitely the cast. Harrison Ford, as I've said, is great. You can tell he loves being in this movie, and it's so heartening to see a person of his age still going around and doing stuff like this. Phoebe Waller-Bridge, I think she's a phenomenal actress, and she did the best that she could with their character. And, supporting Mads Mikkelsen, a great villain. I'm gonna say that he's probably one of the better Indiana Jones villains. I have no qualms about saying that. The supporting cast is all great, but Phoebe Waller-Bridge, I want to get back to her. I need this to be clear so I don't come across like I'm being like, oh, Indiana Jones went woke SJW feminist. I don't want to come across that way, because in truth, I love Phoebe Waller-Bridge. She's an amazing writer and actor, and I'm glad that she's been given this opportunity to be in a bigger budget role. She's going to get a lot more public attention. These are all good things. The problem is, like, you get this person who is pure charisma distilled into human form, and you put her in this movie. But, like, her character is just not, she's not too likable. I'm gonna be honest. Throughout the movie, she repeatedly tells everyone how she's, independent and resourceful and doesn't need anyone's help. And of course that's a front, but it's not because she's insecure. They never really go deep as to why she acts that way. They show, like, she actually does care. She claims she's only in this for the money, but she's really, deep down, she cares for the kids she's looking after, and she cares about preserving her father's legacy, and she does care about the artifact. It just doesn't feel earned, and her portrayal, it's like this character is just not given enough redemption in the end. She's just kind of like an asshole for most of it, and then when she turns around, it's just like, okay. Like, at one point, she's cracking jokes, and Indiana Jones has to be like, hey, my friend just died. Could you stop with the quips for 2 seconds? And then she just has, like, this awkward, like, ugh, I don't want to see that shit. So yeah, that's my rant about her character. Speaking, like I said earlier, the tone of this movie is just, it just feels overly cynical. At one point in the third act, he goes, what am I even doing here? And that is not a question you want your main lead to be asking in the third act of your movie. And even at that's what he's like, you just have to accept that you're old now, and that, you are not as young and youthful and exuberant as you used to be. So you just have to suck it up and enjoy the remaining years you have left. I'm so glad we have that for Indiana Jones, this swashbuckling hero who fought Nazis and chased after archaeological artifacts. I didn't need to see the aftermath of what a life like that does to him. And this is really getting to the heart of the issue I have with this movie, and with some of the people's response to it, is when people are comparing this movie to Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. Hear me now. I have never ever understood why Kingdom of the Crystal Skull gets so much hate. Is it as good as the first three? Hell no. If you thought that movie was ever going to be as good as the original three, that's on you. I'm sorry. And yeah, there's dumb moments like the nuke fridge scene and the fucking gophers and Mutt swinging on from vine to vine like a monkey, like Tarzan. There are moments in there that don't work. But on the whole, that movie at the very least feels like an Indiana Jones movie. And it's because Spielberg and George Lucas, they both had something to do with that movie. They were involved, and you can feel it. You can feel the sincerity. Yes, it's goofy and campy at times. It's a bit saccharine for its own good. It looks a bit fake. But at the very least, the tone, what it's going for, it successfully recreates that feeling you get when watching these movies. But I just didn't get that with this at all, because they're not involved with the story or the direction. It feels like a weird fan-made project that never quite figures out how to bring back the old magic, because there's no way to bring back the old magic completely. Kingdom of the Crystal Skull gets so much hate. People talk about that movie like it's the worst thing that's ever been made. And I'm sorry, it's just not. And to act like this movie is better because there's no nuke fridge is just, it's absurd. It is just absurd. I'm gonna get into spoilers for a bit here. Skip ahead. I'll put the timestamp. But yeah, this is your warning to leave, because I have some grievances with this movie in relation to the other ones that involve talking about key moments in the movie. So this is your warning. 3, 2, 1, go, 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 go. All right, so they killed off Mutt because the response to that character was so fucking volatile. We were like, no, I hate him. He's a good character. I'm sorry, like, the chemistry between him and Indy works. It works. It just does. So, but the fact that they have him killed off in Vietnam, there's no reason you needed to kill him off in such a spiteful way. There's no reason that Mutt needed to go to Vietnam and be fucking blasted with napalm. They don't need to justify where he is within this story. He could just be off elsewhere, living his own life, Maybe he's taking care of his own kids or something. Oh, but no, we can't have that. No. Otherwise, we won't have this sad Indiana Jones who's just kind of like, fuck everything. There is no reason why you needed to make the character so miserable. Especially after such a nice little bow you put at the end of the fourth one. Now when I watch the fourth one, when it's like the cute wedding and everyone's there and everyone's happy, I'm like, all right, that guy's gonna die, she's gonna leave his ass. So really, this happily ever after is just kind of like the prologue to a long series of misery and just nihilism. That's not what the character deserved. And him wanting to die 2,000 years in the past, what the fuck? I was gonna be so pissed if they left him there to die. Come on! But yeah, overall, other than some of the action scenes and the cast, this movie just really fell flat for me and did not give me the experience I wanted or really needed. Really, honestly, here's what I want people to do. If you go see this movie, please watch this and then go back and watch Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. And please honestly tell me that this movie feels more like an Indiana Jones movie than that one. And I don't care about intention. I don't care about like, oh, it was meant to be darker and sadder. That's not what Indiana Jones was ever meant to be. Don't make a movie about that then. So yeah, I guess that's all I really wanted to say. Dial of Destiny for me, yeah, I don't know. I'm giving it like a C-, and that's being generous. It is competently made enough, but story-wise, character-wise, it is incredibly disappointing. Just go back and watch the first three because you're never going to be able to recreate that magic ever again. Okay, bye!